In the sun, everything looks different. Trees, waves, vibrations, the whole world comes to life. At 304 Beechwood Street, it was all the same. In an unintentional stroke of genius, my parents built me a treehouse which gave me a particular view of the girls who lived next door. They were sweet on me, and I'd known them ever since I was young. The older one used to babysit for my parents when they were away. I spent many days up there in that treehouse, peeking into the windows, hoping to get a glimpse of the golden blonde beauties that lived next door to me throughout my youth. On one such summer day, I got lucky. As soon as I saw the younger one, my contemporary in age, walk into her bedroom and start to take her sweater off, I knew I was in. It took me a second to notice something was wrong when she slipped off her blouse-like sweater, and it was only in the light of the sun, as the tree my hideaway was perched in blew in the wind, that I saw it. The markings. Crippling markings. Absolutely disfiguring scarring which set the girl's frame ablaze with a completely separate appearance. She was blonde, but her older sister wasn't blood related to her, and out of the two, she was the less pretty. But with those narrow fringes scaling the soft parts of her body, she looked completely beautiful in ways her sister never could. The scarring shone in the sun like sequining in solid, slender lines, which went smaller as they went from top to bottom. At the time, I just assumed she had been disfigured by an accident, but it didn't really occur to me to think about it until our senior year. Her sister had moved out, but only down the street, and they continued to spend their time together. I moved on and hadn't spent much time in the treehouse apart from drinking there with friends to stay out of my parents' sights. I ran into her one day, in the sun. I could see how the lines moved down her frame, even despite the layers of clothing she was wearing. And I thought to ask her about it, but I couldn't get the courage up. It wasn't until years later that I saw her again, but something seemed different. She had begun to look like her older sister, and though I could recognize her, as I'd spent my entire childhood living right next door, and my early teen years seeking a voyeur's thrill, trying to get a good look at her and her sister, it was odd. After all, they weren't related. The strangest part was, she had a young girl with her, who looked oddly like her sister, and on the outlines of her fringed summer dress, in the light of the sun as it shone through the sheer fabric, I saw tiny slender lines drawn up from the fringes of her breasts. Thank you for listening to The Creepy Danger. The title of this work was In the Sun by Frazier. If you have any suggestions for future narrations, please send them to thecreepydanger@gmail.com. This was my first narration, and I hope it didn't show. Once again, I appreciate you. Thank you.